In this video, I'll add sound effects and animations to the game. There is more detail in the accompanying blog post linked below. For simple animations, I use the following pattern. First, make a copy of the UI element that is going to be moved. Then redraw the parent of the moving object. Use DoTween's DoMove function to move the copy to the target position, wait for the animation to complete, and then delete the copy and draw the target area. The event system is designed for the events act function to contain animation and sound effect code. When events are executed by the timeline controller, do function is called first to update the model, then the act function is called to do animations and sound. This means that when the act function is called, the game model has already been updated. When the game is being loaded or the events are being re-executed during an undo, the act functions aren't called. I'm going to start by setting up the audio player with the rest of the sound effect clips. I'll add the clips to the enumeration in the audio player class. There are 3 more sound effects to add: a card flip, a chip clink, and a shuffle. Then add the clips themselves to the audio player behavior that was added to the controller object. I also need to add the Windows voice behavior to the controller object for speech to work. I'll start with the eInitialize event that is executed when the game starts. I want it to play the shuffle sound effect. When a player pays a chip, I'll play the chip sound. Then I want to animate a chip moving from the player to the center. To do this, I'll first make a copy of the chip object in the player area. That chip has 2 text object children showing the number of chips. I don't want either of them on the moving copy, so I'll delete the children. Then I'll use DoTween's extension functions to move the copy of the chip up to the center over 1 second. When the animation is complete, I want to destroy the copy and redraw the center to update the chip count. I need to break up the Game GUI's draw function so that I can just draw the center area without drawing the player areas. I also want to animate the gift icon over to the next player. Again, I'll make a copy of the icon and move the copy to the next player's area. When it arrives, I want to delete the copy and draw the next player's area. That draw call will show their gift icon right as the moving copy arrives and is deleted. Since the player areas have different rotations, I also want to animate rotating the gift icon to match the destination's rotation. Finally, I'll call draw on the acting player's area. This will update the chip count and hide the gift icon. This will happen immediately on the screen. When the player takes a card, I want to show any chips bid and the card itself moving from the center to the player's area. Moving the card works just like before. Make a copy, move it and rotate it, then delete it and draw the player area when it arrives. I also want to move the chips from the center to the player. I only want to do this if there were chips on the card. Since the model has already been updated, I can't look at the number of center chips member variable, so I'll need to store the number of chips during the do function and check it in the act function. Moving the chip is just like moving the card, except that I don't need to draw the player area again, since that has already been done above. I'll also play the chip sound effect once for each chip that the player took. Now that the card and chip are animating to the player, I need to draw a new card from the gift deck. I'll have the Game GUI draw the center area. This will hide the center chip and draw the new top card. I'll play the card flip sound after a second. Then I'll animate drawing the new card by moving it from the draw deck to its normal location. To do this, I can use the tween.from function to reverse an animation. So this code will immediately move the card to the given position and then animate it back to its starting position. I'll also set the delay on this animation so that it starts when the taken card is halfway to the player's area. There was an error in the last video. The current player doesn't advance when the player takes a card. Now let's try it out. It looks like the moving copies aren't visible. This probably means that I forgot to set the depth of the animation camera. It needs to have a larger value for depth than the main camera, so it is drawn after the main camera. It also looks like the new gift card is starting in the wrong place. This probably means that the pivot of the drawn card isn't set to 1/2, 1/2. The animations and sounds seem fine now. When I hit play, the game has been starting immediately instead of starting on the main menu. That is because I'm starting with the game canvas active and the main menu inactive. The reuse code detects that and goes right into the game to save me time. But now I want to test out my shuffle sound, so I'll set the main menu active, hide the game canvas, and start a new game. The shuffle sound works. Now I'll test quitting and resuming a game. The game loads and resumes right where we left off. This completes the game. In the next video, I'll add the load capability by making a load screen for the main menu. I'll also add a version number and build the game for Windows.